everyone, welcome to the next session of finite element analysis. I am solving question 3 on direct application of EME. Analyze the step bar given below. In the step bar I can see there are two bars. Two ends are shown as fixed. The two bars have a certain length which is given, and here I can see that there is a small gap of 1.2 mm. Now there is a load applied at this junction. When this load will be applied, obviously this bar will go under tension because this portion is being pulled, and this is being pulled, obviously this will be under compression. Once this is in tension and compression, this bar will come and touch this end. When it touches this end will apply some kind of reaction. So if you could be thinking that this is a node and this is a node, because these are two end points, and there should be a node over here because there is a change in cross section. There is no change in material here. As you can see, there is only one value of E given, and there is also a sudden loading. So this should be my node 2. I will not be marking a node over here because this end is anyways going to touch over here and form node 3. So there is no point in marking a separate node at this point. Ultimately these 2 points will become the same. Only then you can say the problem will come into existence. Hence the gap over here is to be filled up once the load is applied, and only one node to be marked over here. This is obviously element 1 and this is element 2. I'll start with my step 1, which is discretization diagram. So I have element 1, element 2, element 1 is between node 1 and 2, element 2 is between node 2 and 3, and these two lengths are given. So this is H1 and this is H2 in case you want to mark it. Now next step is going to be development of EME. So step 2, the equation is AE upon HE, 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. I'll have U1 U2 raised to E is equal to P1 P2 raised to E. I'll first solve for element 1. This will be A1. E is same for both the material, H1. I'll substitute. A1 is given as 110. E is given as 2 into 10 raised to 5. H1 is, okay, this is given as 1.2 meters. So I'll just write here 1200 mm, and this will be 2400 mm. Here I have 1200. 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. I'll have U1 U2 raised to 1 is equal to P1 P2 raised to 1. When I solve this, I get 18.33 into 10 raised to 3. So I take 10 raised to 3 common and multiply 18.33 inside. Now element 1 is between node 1 and 2. So I'll write down 1, 2, 1, 2. Next I'll go for element 2, A2 E upon H2. A2 is given as 220. E is given as 2 into 10 raised to 5, which is common. Length is 2400. When I solve this, I get 10 raised to 3, 18.33 minus 18.33 minus 18.33 and 18.33. Element 2 is between node 2, 3, 2, 3. Next I'll go for step 3, that is development of GME. I have a 10 raised to 3 common. I have 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3 because there are maximum 3 nodes, U1, U2, U3, P1, P2, P3. I'll start with element 1. Between 1 to 1, 2, it is 18.33. So I have 1, 2, 1, 2. For element 2, again it is between 2, 3, 2, 3 and the value is same. So I'll write down 2, 3, 2, 3. There is no element between node 1 and 3. Next I'll go for step 4, imposing boundary conditions. I'll look at the figure. Node 1 is fixed. At node 2 there is a load of P which is 55 kilonewton. So I'll start with U1 being 0. I'll write down node 1 is fixed. Obviously this will apply a reaction force P1. P2 is given as 55 into 10 raised to 3 Newton. If this value is known, obviously this has to be question mark. Now if you look at the figure, directly do not jump into the conclusion that node 3 is fixed, because this is the displacement which will happen for this node 3, because this much portion will be covered up. So I can say that the displacement of node 3 is known to me, which is 1.2 mm. Once this displacement takes place, only then P3 will come into picture. Otherwise, P3 is not there right now. If you observe, this is free. So once this load is applied, this displacement happens, node 3 displacement happens, only then P3 comes into picture. So I would be writing down U3 is 1.2 mm. So I'll write here 1.2 mm and P3 will be question mark, which is the reaction which I need to find. Now U1 is 0. So from here I can just mark U1 being 0. First row and first column I'll neglect for some time. I'll write the rest of the equations and solve like the previous numericals. I'll take 10 raised to 3, 36.66 minus 18.33 minus 18.33 and 18.33. I have U2. U3 is 1.2 is equal to 55 and this P3 is something I don't know. I'll take 10 raised to 3 common. 10 raised to 3 gets cancelled from both the sides. I'll write the equation now. When I solve these two equations, I'll get the value of U2 as 2.1 mm and P3 as minus 16.49 kilonewton. Now I will revisit this equation. I have only minus 18.33 into U2 is equal to P1 and 10 raised to 3 will be on both the sides. So you can directly assume it is cancelled and the equation will be minus 18.33 U2 is equal to P1. I get the value of P1 as minus 38.49 kilonewton. Now I'll go for the check step, where I'll write summation of force in x direction is 0. I need to add P1 plus P2 plus P3. I have minus 39.49 plus 55 and minus 16.49. I get this value as 5 into 10 raised to minus 3 kilonewton, which is approximately equal to 0. Hence, checked. Next, I'll go for stress calculation. The formula is sigma E is E upon HE minus 1, 1. U1, U2 raised to E. For element 1, sigma 1 is E upon H1 minus 1, 1. U1, U2 Value of E is 2 into 10 raised to 5. Value of H1 is 1200. Minus 1, 1. U1 is 0. U2 is 2.1. I get this answer as 350 Newton per mm square. Since it is positive, I'll write it is tensile. Next, I'll solve for element 2. Sigma 2 is E upon H2 minus 1, 1. I'll have U2, U3. E is 2 into 10 raised to 5. H2 is 2400. Minus 1, 1. U2 is 2.1 and U3 is 1.2. On solving this, I'll get minus 75 Newton per mm square. When I get negative, I need to justify. I'll justify this as compressive. So with this, I end the session. I hope you have understood the numerical. If you have any doubts, please write to me in the comment section. I'll see you in the next session with another numerical. Thank you.